When you have a crowd of people, it is often necessary to try to move that crowd. The single most important thing for the troopers to remember is where are they going to move that crowd to. The people have to have some place to go out of the way. So in this case, we're having an imaginary group of people up against the fence line, and the troopers are going to move those people away from that fence and create space. Their first maneuver is in a column of twos to wherever they go. Most of what you'll see today, the troopers will be in a column of two, although Jim will put them through some other maneuvers in a few minutes that will be a little more complicated and difficult. Now you'll see that the corporal's calling them into a diagonal. She takes the lead and I'm right up against the fence with each succeeding horse right on her leg, with each trooper's leg. And they form a nice diagonal line, and then they move the people away from the fence. And just keep right on going right through them and move the people out. Again, one of the most important things is the people have to have a place to go, and in this case they simply back them up and out of the way. Now the troopers will go back into their original line formation. I believe, Gary, what you're going to see next is what is called a musical ride. This is, I may be inaccurate, but I believe it was invented or perfected by Montreal or Canada and the troopers there. Most of the people in the United States have imitated it. Jim will tell you. He'll tell you he invented it.
Chopper's leaving.
We're waiting for DJ Bruce to get up here. Obviously, all the maneuvers and training, focus towards teamwork, and the music maneuver enhances that.
Right now all of the horses are at the trot in a column of twos. This is the basic formation that we have used all week. Riding in this formation, first of all, is very difficult for the horses, Gary, because they don't really want to be in a formation. They just want to be out in a field. So it forces the horses and the riders to develop their skills at riding. This is a left flank maneuver. You should see two rows of troopers as they come across, and then when the commander calls forward, they will all resume their original course back in a column of twos. Again, all of this is done to develop the troopers and the horses' ability to work together and as a group. When they're at the walk, the interval between each horse should be about 4 feet. At the trot, we should look for an interval of approximately 10 feet. And maintaining that proper interval takes a lot of work between the horse and rider. Now as the troopers split left and right, use the beams, if you would, to notice that as they go back down the other direction, how they maintain their spacing so that they meet at the other end at the same time. They're constantly adjusting to make sure that their distance is correct. Also notice that we have a mixture of horses. There's a Kiger Mustang, there's quarter horses, there's draft cross horses, and there are pure drafts, all in this mix. All of them work at a different pace, and so all of them have to learn how to maintain the same speed. So they come together very well as they're doing now. Alright, now they're moving into a column of fours. Still maintaining the 10-foot interval between each rank. But it makes them, again, adjust their riding skills because they've got to allow for that wider column when they make each turn. They're making this look simple, but this is very, very difficult. I think he's actually going to try a column of 12. Yep. This one, folks, is really tough. They have to keep all the horses in that straight line, and on a curve you'll notice that the outside horse will be almost in a canter or possibly cantering, while the inside horse is barely moving at all. This is precision riding. And it's being done very well. All right. Okay, now they're going to fall back into a column of twos and continue in that maneuver. You know, the 40-hour class that Alpha and Omega puts on, this is one of the longest and finest classes across the United States. Most states for law enforcement officers and mounted units do not have a mandatory standard. And for those few that do, the class that is put on here clearly exceeds that standard. So these troopers are getting some of the best training in the entire country. Weisbeck has been doing this training for over 25 years. He was the senior instructor for the entire state of New York's mounted unit for a long period of time. We're very fortunate and blessed to have him here. Troopers, in addition to all of their riding, also received instruction on use of force, dealing with the public, which is extremely important for the Alpha and Omega troopers and the police officers, because most of what we do is based on the people's respect for the animal and for the trooper. And that respect must never be abused. This is a wedge formation. You'll see there's a point man, Sergeant Williamson, and then it's actually like a diagonal on both sides. This is an excellent crowd clearing maneuver. Because again, you take horses and you're slowly and gently moving people away from a center point and off to the sides. And now just before they finish, we're going to do just a little bit more sensory, I think. Fruit.